All right, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Barcodes and Honeywell, I'd like to thank you all for attending our webinar today on unified communications for better customer outcomes. We know your time is precious, and we hope you gain some valuable insights today into how UC can help you deliver a better customer experience and boost productivity for your workforce. We do have a Q&A feature available on this webinar, so please feel free to send us any questions and we'll address them towards the end as time allows. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Tim Jackson, the Global Software Offering Manager over at Honeywell. Tim?
Thanks so much, Raul. Thank you also for this great opportunity to talk to your customers. Barcodes is a fantastic partner of ours, our largest partner, and it's certainly an honor to be able to present this solution to all of you. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump right into it. So today we're going to cover, Honeywell Smarttalk, and we're going to go through kind of a unified communications, the global trends, just at a really high level, kind of why we are moving into this space. What is Smarttalk? The benefits and ROI that we're seeing across some core verticals. Kind of what our core product values are and differentiators. And what are those target verticals? Where do we see it? I'm also going to provide a live demo of the application, and we'll talk through kind of the Smarttalk product packaging and bundling, and at the end we'll have about 5 minutes for questions. This is our value statement. So Smarttalk exists to provide smart, constant, and instant communication for mobile workers. We want to speed up tasks and connect teams, and of course the desire is to focus them on delivering better customer experiences. So unified communications, I'll start kind of with defining that. So basically, for anyone who doesn't know, unified communication is kind of a universal term for some of these applications we're all getting very familiar with now, considering the coronavirus, and a lot of companies are mandating working from home. Tools like Skype and Teams that allow us to have meetings and webinars, and a lot of times they include and consolidate chat and phone calls, kind of all within one single application. We're definitely seeing just a global trend of an adoption of unified communication as a service. So this is where companies are purchasing subscriptions rather than hosting it themselves, and that's a drive across the board for SaaS products, but definitely impacting the UC space. 5G is going to be a huge driver for unified communications. It's going to enable better technology. It's going to enable higher quality, and hopefully it's going to drive down costs of some of the feature set and the bandwidth. The mobile workforce, I think a lot of your customers and a lot of the folks, kind of in the modern age, are driving to be more mobile, and working from home or working from their phone, or being away from a desk is important, and so that's driving the adoption. I think just at a high level of unified communications tools. And then, of course, security. This is a major component of voice over IP and of unified communication, is just elevating that security and driving the encryption of communication. And so, with all of that, you can say goodbye to some of your old phones, and the traditional phone on your desk type scenario, or with our some of our key verticals on the wall, or at the counter. Those are becoming a thing of the past. So what is Smarttalk? It is a unified communications tool. We're providing very, very feature-rich voice over IP, secure messaging, user presence. I'll define what that is. All to drive better communications within a mobile-equipped workforce. So what are some of the benefits and ROI that we're seeing with our customers? So Improved response times, workflows, productivity as we're engaging our customers. Security is huge, so safeguarding customer, company information, employee data. So this is an enterprise-grade application with highly secure voice and messaging and video calling. Consolidating devices, I think that's really key as we're engaging with customers. So, for mobile workforces that use walkies or, and scanners, consolidating that into one device is definitely a good ROI. That focuses the IT investment on just one and the support costs on one provider for that. And then, of course, eliminating the need for those hard phones. So like you think of in a retail environment, they might have the desk phone, they might have walkies, they might have a scanning device, consolidating all that into a single device for eliminating those hard phone refreshes that we're also seeing. So what are the core values of our offering? I think these are also kind of doubled as differentiators in the market. So we are OEMing the counterpath solution. They are an industry leader in the voice over IP space with over 15 years of experience, and they have 20 million activations worldwide. Why did we do this? Why didn't we build our own? I think to be in voice nowadays, you have to have a very robust, very mature product. You can't come to market with a minimum viable offering anymore. You have to have a robust solution. So I think one of the core differentiators of our product is it provides seamless call continuity between Wi-Fi and cellular. So we're seeing that our end users, they're not losing connectivity if they're in a large environment. They're able to walk from one Wi-Fi endpoint to another or Wi-Fi into cellular and maintain their call. And then under quality as well, the solution supports a wide range of audio codecs for superior call quality. So if you're new to the voice over IP terms, a codec is the technology that compresses voice over data. And it also offers that basically, if you support a lot of codecs, then you and support modern codecs, the better quality your voice over data experience is. So any VoIP product that you're evaluating, I would research their codecs requirements and what codecs they support, as opposed to what's out there today. Security. So we offer very advanced enterprise security and encryption, including MTLS environments. So basically, we secure the call at the origination point and at the endpoint for MTLS environments. And we also provide secure video calls and messaging within that too. And of course, the solution can be deployed by an MDM. Simplicity is really important for scale. So our solution allows for LDAP and mass user provisioning from a centralized location. Customers have access to that via a cloud-hosted solution, and they can rapidly onboard end users. And then flexibility. I think this is kind of unique for this type of solution that we're offering. It's not necessarily tied to Honeywell only devices. This is iOS, Android, Windows compatible, Honeywell devices, competitor devices, consumer devices, bring your own device. So the solution is very flexible and can support our customers and partners whose customers may have mixed environments or mixed deployments of devices. And then we also support and integrate into customers' backend PBX and SIP environments. So PBX server is basically the call server that a customer has. And what we're finding is a lot of our our potential prospective customers have, mixed environments. They might have one PBX solution, they have multiple, and they might have older ones or newer ones. We support over 20 and are compatible with almost any back customer environment, and can integrate and layer the voice over IP solution on top of that. So that covers the value pillars. Our target verticals are really anywhere where there is a remote worker. I think that our primary targets at launch, because this is a pretty new launch as of this March, are retail, transportation, logistics, and healthcare. But this definitely plays well in the warehouse, and as well as with in hospitality, or any field and service workers. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and provide a overview of the solution. So you can see that from kind of the features listed, we are definitely a unified communications tool. We provide multiple means for our customers to communicate, and including push to talk, full secure and group messaging, our CT40 devices, or whatever device the application is on, becomes a fully functioning desk phone. We have the secure calling, voicemail, call history, call recording as options. I think we already highlighted this, but we support that wide-ranging PBX environments and multiple integrations. We provide the full user presence, contacts, favorites. User presence, I'll show you here in a minute, is basically the ability to see who's online, who's been offline for a little while, who's completely offline. So you have visibility into your workforce. That centralized user provisioning we already mentioned, and of course the user metrics and reporting, giving that operational visibility into the calls and into the full deployment. And then I think this one's pretty significant. Kind of on the bottom right, the help desk remote support. Our customers are, as they're scaling this, they need to be able to support it, and so do our teams. And Barcodes, if they choose to implement that as well, need to be able to remote into the application and kind of see what's going on, and assist with the individual, as well as be able to read the logs from any issue that could be reported. So it provides that enterprise grade supportability, which is pretty important in a voice solution. So I'll go ahead and navigate into a full feature demo. I have kind of on the screen here in the middle a CT40 device that I've pulled up. You can see the icon here in the bottom left, and part of the customization features that we offer, and we do allow the application to be fully customized to our partners and to our customers. You could actually change that icon, and you have some control over that and what it looks like. And when I navigate into the app, I'm already logged in, but that's significant in the sense that a couple of points on logging in. I can be logged in on up to 5 devices at once, and those devices could be, depending on what I'm allowed to log into, it could be the CT40, it could be a Zebra device, it could be a consumer device, it could also be a computer, PC. So it could be logged in simultaneously, and it's also significant because it doesn't matter what device I log into. So the login actually holds my complete call history, my message history, my conversations, my personal contacts, or whatever's been deployed to me from the end customer's LDAP, within the application. But it follows my login. Additionally, when I log in, I think what's also significant is the user interface is really straightforward and simple. Anybody who's used a smartphone before knows, what a dial pad icon means, what this icon that generally means contacts. This usually means recent calls, and this is the universal icon for messaging. So think training and the ability to quickly onboard end users and to a communications tool like this. And so within the navigation, of course, this is just the standard dial pad, and outgoing calls work as you would traditionally expect them to. If that is part of the specific customer's implementation. And then I navigate over, and I see within the buddies list, I see everybody that's been configured for my specific login. So it could be, this could be done by store, by warehouse, by whatever the end customer or wants to have visibility to from a contacts component portion. They can see that. And if I go to all, this will be the specific contacts of the device itself. So if there are contacts allowed on the from the device, you can actually configure that to show here too. And then we put push to talk channels. So with all the communication within Smarttalk, you have one-to-one and one-to-many communication, and that's the case with push to talk, that's the case with voice calls, and that's the case with messaging. So this is the one-to-many user interface for push to talk, and so these are channels that are configured by our end customers, so they could create their own workflows around these channels. I kind of have a mixture of warehouse, T&L, and retail showed here, but so I can configure these. They could be by department, like electronics or clothing, or however I want to configure them. And then whatever channel is starred, I am listening to. I have the ability to simultaneously listen to multiple channels or not. Anything that's not starred, I can press and hold and actually push to talk to that channel, but won't necessarily need to hear responses. So there's lots of options there. And then we support a default channel as well. So that default channel, when you make it the default, you can actually map that channel to a button. So in the sense of like a warehouse scenario, maybe you don't want a lot of interaction with the screen for safety reasons. You want them to just hold a button, speak, release, and go from there. So that's kind of the one-to-many version of push to talk. Over here within the contacts list, I also have a one-to-one button. So the push to talk button here will be a direct push to talk to a single individual. And then, of course, within the user interface of the contact, I can also push to talk, call, or message as well. And then my recent calls will be kind of a complete record of all the different calls and push to talk that occurred. So I actually have visibility to who attempted to one-to-one push to talk to me, which I think is important visibility. So you're aware in case you missed something, if you weren't, if you didn't know that your manager kind of pushed to talk to you, you can then see that and respond. And then the messaging component is fairly robust and comes in the same kind of one-to-one and one-to-many. So right now I have the ability to navigate to a one-to-one list of conversations I'm having with individual people, and I can start by selecting somebody. I can quickly message them. I also have the ability to add a file image to that message. So think workflows around I'm sending pictures of damaged freight, or in retail, maybe sending an image of a suspicious person doing something they shouldn't be doing, maybe to security personnel. And then I can also escalate by hitting this button. I can directly call that person in the list. And then I have the one-to-many secure messages, and these are configurable rooms. So I have the ability as an admin to go ahead and create a room, or I can join a room, maybe if I don't, if I know of one. And these can be configured per person, per group, and they could be specific to the customer's needed workflows. So we have, a loss prevention room as a kind of a retail demo where, you could create a room that's dedicated to conversations about loss prevention that maybe ties into a you know, a security person sitting behind a desk that has the Smarttalk client on their computer. They get messages. They pay attention to this group. They see, you know, pictures going back and forth about things that are happening. They can then quickly escalate conversations, and messaging in that scenario, of course, is really discreet, which is important, and also certainly a really preferred communication method of some of the younger generation that are entering the workforce. So we see that as a priority. And so again, these rooms are configurable. You can actually make them private. So you have a lot of options as to what kind of workflows you want to build into the product. So I'll go ahead and transition now, and we'll talk a little bit about the Smarttalk packaging and the bundles that we support. So, you know, kind of the entry level bundle for Smarttalk is Smarttalk Basic, and that includes the one-to-many push-to-talk I showed you guys, which, you know, those configurable channels, that is limited to Honeywell devices only, and you know, that's not part of the mixed deployment strategy. This is just for, you know, Honeywell devices. You know, and additionally, this is the tier that will support the push-to-talk within a Wi-Fi network only. So right now we are in development of the push-to-talk over the wireless network, so over the air cellular network as well as Wi-Fi. Currently, we support Wi-Fi and are delivering the over the cell network this year, but the basic package will support only within the four walls or within Wi-Fi. Professional, that will support Wi-Fi and outside of the Wi-Fi network and cellular. It also has the one-to-many push-to-talk and the one-to-one push-to-talk, so you can have those private push-to-talk direct messages, and then we've also included secure messaging, so the secure one-to-one messaging within that package. This one is going to be manufacturer and operating system agnostic, so you can support it on iOS, you could support it on you know, from other devices from other manufacturers, and it will work there. We also support the centralized enterprise provisioning within this package as well. And then the enterprise solution, certainly this is the one where we believe will deliver the most value and offer, you know, a full unified communication solution. It includes, you know, this is one application, and it will include kind of all these features: push-to-talk channel, one-to-one secure messaging, and secure messaging via chat rooms that I demoed to you. And then it'll also include enterprise voice over IP, you know, that sits on the PBX in the PBX customer's PBX environment, and secure enterprise video calls. So, you know, our use case for that has primarily been out the back camera of a device. So if you think, again, that OS&D freight or shelves that need to be restocked, you're actually showing the person you're talking to what you're looking at. It also will support any device that has a front-facing camera for kind of that consumer use case where you're actually wanting to see the person you're talking to. And this one will be, of course, is manufacturer operating system agnostic. It will support channel configuration, the centralized provisioning as well. This tier will also support the enterprise branding of the application, so and the SDK. So if you're trying to make this into your color scheme with your splash screens, with your logos and icons, this will support that. So I will go ahead and transition now it looks like we only got a couple questions on the solution, which is fine. And I kind of mentioned the answer to the first one at the end here. There was a question on, do we support an SDK? And the answer is yes, we do. For basically all features, save the push-to-talk feature, we support an SDK. Of course, push-to-talk will be on the roadmap to support in an SDK, but today it's the full unified communication solution minus that over an SDK, and I'm glad to implement as needed there. And then, you know, one of the other questions I think is pretty important. Is why would somebody buy direct from Honeywell? Why would we buy Smarttalk direct from Honeywell as opposed to going direct to Counterpath and purchasing their Bria solution, which is kind of the equivalent of this? And really that has a couple answers. One is Counterpath and us are in close alignment on the go-to-market strategy for this specific market within the retail and healthcare and transportation and DC spaces that we want to jointly go arm in arm together. We've negotiated a very special package of their solution. Typically, they don't bundle it in the way that I've just demoed it to you. It's kind of a one-off solution and built per customer as the customer orders it. With ours, the enterprise especially is all inclusive. Another key reason is that the push-to-talk feature set is exclusive to Honeywell currently, and Counterpath is not including that in their consumer marketed products. So we also are bringing the full reporting visibility into operational intelligence. So you have that single pane of glass approach to device data and voice over IP data as well. So those kind of address those key questions. I will say if you have more questions or comments, or you want to start any Smarttalk related projects, we have Raul's contact information right here on the screen. He's looking forward to hearing from you, and just reach out to Barcodes for anything related to Smarttalk, and you'll be good to go. Thanks, everybody.